asking whether if you provide a recursive solution in an interview, is it the right solution or not?
Right.
Is that your question?
Yes.
Right. So usually in the interview, if you come up with a recursive solution, in most of the cases, I have seen that it is a perfectly acceptable solution, unless the interviewer is expecting a dynamic DP solution, and he asks you explicitly that, can you come up with a dynamic programming solution, right? So for interview purpose, if you come up with the recursive solution, with this particular recursive solution that Badal has provided, or this particular recursive solution that we have written, if you come up with this recursive solution, then it's a perfectly working solution, right? So it is not that recursive solution is not working solution. Recursive solution is a 100% working solution, right?
Yes.
And for most of the interviews, if the interviewer has 20 minutes for one question and you come up with a recursive solution, then he will I think, accept the solution, right? So that's why normally my suggestion for interviews is that if you get a DP solution in an interview, go for a recursive solution. Write the recursive solution. Tell the interviewer that this is a recursive solution. This has overlapping subproblems. If you want, probably a better solution can be dynamic programming solution. If you want, I can try the dynamic programming solution. So there are two benefits of this approach. One is that you provide a quick solution which is working and which is a good enough solution really fast, right? So this is one thing. So you are not under pressure when in the interview you go blank for some time. So if you go blank for some time in the interview, then you yourself will kind of get into pressure that I am not answering, so maybe I'm taking more time and all, right?
Right. So I mean, you would write the recursive solution, and then as a sort of stepwise improvement, you could add the memoization or cache onto it to improve it, and then that should be good enough, right?
Yeah, that should be good enough. Or interviews are they are very one-to-one interactions, right? So if the other person, if the interviewer is expecting a dynamic programming solution, then he will ask you, or you can say that there exists a DP solution. If you give me more time, then maybe I can try that, right?
Right.
So if the interviewer has confidence in you that you can write the dynamic programming solution, maybe he'll just say that, okay, I understand you can write it. Let's not waste the time.
Right. So is it fair to say then that at any time there's a recursive solution, there also exists a dynamic programming solution?
Probably not. Because
okay.
Let me put down your statement in a different way. What you are trying to say is that anytime we have a recursive solution that has overlapping subproblems, then that
Yes.
has a dynamic programming solution. That is probably your statement, right?
Yes.
Right. So there exist different categories. Some of the recursive solutions are so complex that coming up with a DP solution is really, really difficult. Right. So saying that a DP solution does not exist, maybe it's a blanket statement, so I cannot say that.
Right.
But
Right.
Yes, coming up with a DP solution for some problems is really, really difficult.
Yeah. Okay. I have to go.
Yeah.
But all right. Thank you. See you guys tomorrow.
All right, Vipin.
Just one question, Kamal, I have.
Sure.
The exercise you are giving, the problem you are giving, so we expect us to write DP solution for that, right?
Okay.
Probably we'll start with the recursive memoization, and then we'll also provide DP solution.
Yes. So usually a DP, usually a DP solution uses the same logic of recursion, right? So the logic of recursion, which is compute the minimum of x comma y, we have used the same logic in the DP solution, right? It is not that we have used some different solution. Right.
So it's kind of intuitive. Recursive solution is kind of intuitive.
Yeah, recursive solution is more intuitive. It is easier to code also, because you are not solving the entire problem in one go. What you are doing is that you are solving the problem for those particular parameters, and then you are calling the recursive solution for smaller parameters, right? You are assuming that solution of you are assuming that minimum cost of m minus 1 n is already there. You are assuming that minimum cost of m n minus 1 is already there, and then you are solving it for only the last particular cell.
Right. Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
Just
Good.
last thing I have, and that is
Mm-hmm.
so I was thinking, I'll take few days break from work,
Mm-hmm.
like in between. So like I think today is perfect day. Will
Mm-hmm.
I'll get break of 3 days and I'll be able to practice dynamic programming.
Sure. So how are you practicing it?
So I just practice. I could write questions like we had discussion for linked list questions.
All right.
Right. So just start writing questions.
Right.
Programming. You have given one exercise yesterday. You will be something today as well.
Yeah. So today will be the same thing. Today will be the same, that you have blocking paths, and you want to find the total number of paths, or maybe the minimum cost of the path.
Right. The other thing is I'll go to that site interviewbit.com, and then because that site has categories of
Right.
So I'll go to that site, I'll find the problem, and then I'll try to solve that.
Right. So my suggestion to you is that maybe you want to try of solving a problem first on the paper, because we are trying for interviews. We are not trying for research or any other thing, right? So in interviews, the environment in which you have to solve the problem is that either you have to solve the problem on a whiteboard, right, or you have to solve the problem on paper, right? So it is good that if you can come up with a solution on the paper first, and then maybe you can write the code. So if the solution is really simple, then you can just say that, okay, I can write the solution on paper, but at least in your mind it should be clear that this is how you will do it on the paper. Because sometimes what happens is that if we are writing it directly on computer, then computers first is that computer suggests a lot of things. Second is that in computer we can do a lot of try and fail kind of scenarios, right? So we will write it, then we will fail, then we will try it, we will see where the problem is, then we will fix it, right? So there are a lot of try fail fix cycles in computers, right? So those try fail fix cycles are probably not there when you are solving the problem on paper, right?
So
Actually they should be. Yeah.
Sorry, complete yourself. Sorry, I interrupted.
So I'm saying that they should be that in paper also the cycle is similar. You write the solution on the paper, then you do a code review of your own solution, then you see how your solution is running for a particular input, and then you fix it on the paper if you have any, right? But these number of cycles are really less. It is not that you will do it for multiple times.